Hello and welcome to today's Daily Dominion, which is a Nocturne Alchemy seaside board. We're gonna be looking for, so I guess the things to note are this, that we have Fool, so we have the lucky coin in our deck, which gives silvers. That's on my other hand. And then we have the Pasture, which is worth points per however many estates you keep. So keeping estates around can be a little more valuable here. Gaining estates can be more valuable. And of course, Pasture comes attached to the Shepherd, which has synergy with having green cards in your deck as far as draw goes. There are no villages on the kingdom. So that's going to limit us quite a bit. Now, fortunately, there's a lot of non-terminal stuff to do here. But still, so the issue when you have lucky coin around always is that the AI is getting a pretty good influx of cash, and so then if they buy some decent enough cards, and sometimes run pretty quickly. And it's no exception here. The way I see it, there are kind of two paths as far as a deck drawing thing that you can go for. And they aren't mutually exclusive necessarily, but which part of it you emphasize will change how your deck works a little bit. Cobbler is an extremely powerful card here. Because all of the cards you want to gain cost less, 4 or less. So Cobbler can gain you Shepherds to hand, it can gain you Warehouses to hand, it can gain you Sea Charts to hand at the start of your turn, and all those cards are going to help your draw out here. It's probably the most important card. It can gain estates at the end of the game, but it does cost 5, so it can take a little bit of time to get one. You can gain Potion if you want to do that angle. So anyway, the draw stuff here is either Shepherd, Sea Chart, and Pool, and how much of each of those you want to go for is a bit of a mixed bag probably. I mean, the Shepherds, all of them can be nice to some degree or another, and Warehouse is just going to help you filter through the coppers so that you can play your Shepherds for bigger draw. If you get the Potion, you'll also be able to pick up like one or two familiars, and then that'll let you curse the bot. So the question, I guess, is kind of whether you do Potion or not. In both decks, you're going to have Shepherds, Sea Charts, and Warehouses. And eventually, you would like to have bought one Tragic Hero and played it and trashed it, and then have a Necromancer to replay the Tragic Hero from the trash. The problem with all of this stuff is that you have to buy quite a few 5s as you go along here. So you have to buy a couple Cobblers, you have to buy a Tragic Hero, you probably want to buy an Apprentice. You probably want to start doing some amount of copper trashing. And all of that's going to take time that you may or may not have. Anyway, I think a reasonably good opening here, regardless of what you ultimately want to do. Okay, the AI has the 5-2, which is probably pretty good here. We hit this, and we find the Warehouse as well. Okay, so this is a really excellent reshuffle for us. AI doesn't buy anything with their $2 hand, and depending on when they play their Cobbler, they're also going to be in a pretty good position. Now, if their Cobbler is lower in their shuffle, then it's going to be quite a bit worse. I'm going to take a Cobbler now. I think I will go ahead and I'll go ahead and take one more silver. There's going to be a point where we want to, I mean, I guess if we want, we can also just kind of play the money thing and try and fight on that front. I don't really like doing that typically, but okay, so we've whiffed. They hit 5 again, which isn't necessarily unlikely, but a little unfortunate. We've hit 3. 3 is probably the worst price point you can get here. I think I'll just take a C chart. The problem with all this stuff is you start... This was quite a bad shuffle. What did we have to get? So there's silver and copper down here. Is that right? Maybe this is perfect, actually. So I complain, but actually this is perfect. They did play their cobbler. You can't really see what they're doing as far as the night cards, because it goes so quick. But anyways, the cobbler's up here. We're sort of reaching the point where we need to decide if we think we're going to do the potion stuff, and I'm leaning towards no at this point, just because I think you'd rather buy 5s. So we're going to play the shepherd. You could play the warehouse first, but I'm going to do it in this order. The C chart can draw a few different things. It can actually draw the cobbler, which is a cute interaction here. I'm just going to go ahead and cycle through the last couple cards here. One thing you can also do when you have these cobblers sometimes is you can discard you can trigger a shuffle with a bunch of green cards. And if you have a cobbler down, it's fine. You just play it, and then you have a shuffle that has a bunch of green cards. You gain a shepherd hand. You draw a bunch of cards. So we need to think if we're getting to the point where we try the tragic hero just so we have some plus buy. It's either that or like another cobbler here, which is pretty good too. I think I'm going to go for the plus buy. We're drawing pretty well. It's maybe a little greedy, but the AI buys gold. You really don't need gold here. But I guess we'll take a warehouse. Not the best draw of the warehouse ever, but we do already have the cobbler, so that's something. Okay. I would like an apprentice. I would just like to remove some of these coppers. Okay, they buy province now. Which we're not going to do. I'm going to take the necromancer here, and what I'm going to do is apprentice this warehouse. And then we can even lose the silver. Just going to try and draw a little bit more. Okay, we get the cobbler. And we're going to end up drawing everything anyway, because we're going to play the tragic hero. So we can't actually, if we play the tragic heroes, we can't actually stack stuff, which is not a big deal, but okay. So this is going pretty good. I think I'm okay with having lost, one province there. I don't think that's a huge deal. Trying to think if we want the silver. The 5s are quite a bit nicer than the 4s, but we could go like C chart apprentice or C chart cobbler. Um, I kind of like getting another cobbler. So maybe we go C chart cobbler. Now I'm kind of wishing I had played but we can trash the silver. Okay, so that's not too scary. I guess we'll go ahead and take the shepherd, even though it may not draw a whole bunch. Okay, actually it's just going to draw as much as it possibly could. Guess this is going to be I guess what we could do, actually. We have the cobblers. We could just play Tragic Hero. We could just shuffle in a bunch of green. There's not really a lot of money to draw. So now this has green and estates and such. And we don't have a lot of money at this point in time. We're kind of getting there, but so the question is, can we wait? We need to start adding some green. 10 would have actually been okay here. We need to start adding some green because we have shepherds, but we don't necessarily have great draw for it. But we could cobble for some. Do they really have 4? Okay, no. It just these counts get all messed up. Okay, so they're their second province now. That's not too bad. What I'm gonna do here is just gain 2 estates. Okay. There we drew, the cobblers were next to each other. So one we put into hand, just normal, and one we revealed. There's still warehouse and apprentice, which we need to get to, or not apprentice, warehouse and Tragic Hero. This can be similar to what we had. Actually, this is pretty nice. We can remove a copper, get a gold. Okay, yeah, this is good. So we're only 2 points behind, but we have quite a bit better payload possibilities than the AI. And just scoring possibilities. So they did the Tragic Hero, though they didn't quite get 8, but they did get to take some estates, which is not bad. This should either be double estate or estate shepherd. This is a little bit risky, but so far okay. Yeah, this isn't ideal. We really need to try and play the cobblers. Probably means play warehouse now. Okay. Well, apparently we could have played the treasure cure and it would have been just as good, but well, not just as good, it would have been better, but that's okay. So do we want another silver? Yeah, we can draw silver. Anyway, we get to play the cobblers, and that's pretty much all that matters. Or it's the most important thing, I would say. So we'll see what the AI gets out here. They like technically have outs to getting double province, so they're not super likely. Just gonna go ahead and take those. I'm trying to think on the money count. We were at 13, we had added 5. So that put us up to 18, and then we added 2 more. We should have double even if I trash gold here. I'm just trying to make this first shepherd quite big. But I'm also going to play it here before playing warehouse or the other apprentice because I would like to have these estates in the shuffle actually. So I didn't want to, I could have maybe made that single shepherd bigger, but it's going to kind of limit my ability to get more of them be big. We should be able to draw through here. No problem. I think we even will be able to trash a copper. So we have, there's still, no, we drew the pasture. So there's 1, 2, we do have a bunch of green, but we're going to play the tragic here anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13, 14, 15, yeah. Okay. And double province is safe. They can't. They could province duchy, but that's as good as they can do. All right, so this all ran pretty well. I think here I'm going to take Necromancer Shepherd. One nice thing here is now we can apprentice the cobblers. So I'm going to Necromancer Zombie Apprentice a C chart. I can apprentice a cobbler. I can play a warehouse. So we're going to draw through here really easily. And then we'll just get our buy. Okay. So that went pretty cleanly. AI is doing some of the stuff we're doing, but doesn't really go for the control, and it doesn't go quite as aggressively as you need to make the deck like really pop. I'm still not really sure on the potion stuff. It's a little slow and it eats up your buys. If plus buy was a little cheaper here, I think it would be pretty justifiable to pick up a familiar, because getting the potion is not hard. Though it does potentially eat into your consistency for a turn if you're doing the cobbler stuff to get draw going. So anyway, I don't think it's crazy. They're like reasonably good cards. The Scrying Pool is not great, but it's still okay in this deck. There's a little more treasure in green than you would like for a Scrying Pool deck. Well, there's a lot more treasure in green than you'd like for a Scrying Pool deck, but it still has a pretty decent chance of being a lab at least. And then the Familiar is nice, but it's just the buy being limited that you really want to be buying Cobblers, and then, you know, eventually one Tragic Hero and some Apprentices, but like, you just don't have time to spend buys on other cards. So I don't know. I can believe in getting Potion, but I think I think the Potion skip is probably a little better. Though if you're ahead, Potion may help you. Potion may be a little safer, and it may just help you keep their deck behind if you are ahead. So that in that spot, it maybe makes a little more sense. But if you're behind and you get a Potion and they just have an Apprentice, they're gonna keep up with the cursing pretty well. And if you have to spend so many buys picking up Familiars before you overcome that trashing differential, it's too many buys. You don't have time. Okay, well, I thought this was a neat board. Cobbler Shepherd is a really nice in-set interaction, very powerful, and Warehouse is actually a really, really nice enabler of that as well. So, nice Kingdom. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you all tomorrow.